Everybody, my name is IESHA. So as the host of this wonderful event introduced me as, currently I'm a producer at Crawford Broadcasting, which is Power 92, 106.3, 102.3, the gospel station, and the Rockford station. I do some modeling myself. So that's how we actually connected. One of my friends at the station connected us, and we reached out and just pretty much went from there. And then I ended up coming to this event, so I'm actually glad I came because I'm in the room with like some power people. So I love connecting with different people that can help like expand myself. I may have something that can help them, and they may have something that can help me. Kind of earlier to what I'm sorry, what's your name? Kerry. Earlier to what he was saying as far as, you know, like trade for a trade, or you could just have something that help each other. So pretty much, so I host events as well, modeling, producing. I have my own non-for-profit organization. It's called the It's Okay to Be You campaign, which is a self-love campaign. It's making everyone, letting everybody know that it's okay to be you. You don't have to be like the next person. We are all different. And it's also a campaign that I started that's standing up against bullying, because that's my background. When I was younger, I was bullied. Then it continued in high school, even in my own household, as my grandmother being one of my bullies. So it got to that point, and then I was like, I want to do something to give back to my community and to let people, you know, my age and people younger and even people older that, you know, it's okay to be you. So that's pretty much why I started this campaign. So I go to different high schools, different middle schools throughout the school year, and I talk to the students. I share my story, and I talk to everyone about how I overcame the bullying and how I got to where I'm at now. As I'm going to touch bases on the hosting first, and then I'm going to get into as far as like loving who you are and owning it. So hosting, pretty much, it took me a minute to kind of get to where I'm at as far as being comfortable speaking into crowds, because I was always the shy person. So once I kind of got into the field of radio, that kind of brought out a side of me that I did not know I had. I'm like, okay, where is this personality, this attitude, and this swag coming from? Like, who do I think I am, right? So that's pretty much how that started. So it just brought out my personality. I became like more confident. I'm like, okay, like I got this, you know. Then the way I started just styling myself and dress, because I used to dress totally different, like back in middle school and high school, and then I was also dressing that way because I wasn't confident enough, which will segue into my next topic. So hosting events, some important things. So do anybody got like questions so far for me? We good? Okay. So I get a lot of clubs, a lot of promoters come in my DM on Instagram, hey Aisha, can you host this event? So it's very important. It's very important to know what opportunities you're taking before you accept the opportunities. Every opportunity is not a good opportunity. So promoters slide in my DM like, hey Aisha, can you host that V Live tonight? Can you host that Encore or whatever tonight? I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, what type of hosting it? Because it's a difference between hosting to where they just slap your name on a flyer and they want you to come to look cute and sit down. Me, I'm a professional, so I work at a radio station. I actually have experience with hosting, so I don't look forward to coming to club just to look cute. I do that on a regular basis. I'm serious. I just don't want to. Like, I'm ready to get on the mic, amp the crowd up, be Aisha, and do what I do, because I'm in radio, I'm in media. I don't want to come, I'm sitting in the section, oh, you can't sit with us, hey, give me my Bibles. Like, no. You can leave that to everybody else. So I had that incident happen recently. So a promoter wanted me to come and host, and I'm like, okay. So I got into the point of asking, because if people are reaching out to you for an opportunity, ask as many questions as you want to ask, because they're reaching out to you, and you have the right to know what you're doing. Like, if you're getting paid for it, is it free? Am I really hosting, or are you just slapping me on the flyer? So I asked him, and he was like, oh, just come and look cute. So I just didn't respond. I'm like, I'm not coming just to look cute. You know, if I'm not on the mic, if I'm not really hosting, then it's kind of like I'm to the point where I work at an established radio station. A lot of places where I go, I always see people who know me, or I know them, and I feel like kind of like Birdman a little bit. Put some respect on my name. A little bit, you know. And that's just how I feel. I'm just like, okay, it's not like I'm still upcoming in the industry, but it's like I still have some type of leverage to where I could bring a crowd out. On a regular basis, when I go out on weekends to clubs, I have at least like 4 or 5 people with me, and they looking at me like, dang, she rolls to the club deep, and we are the life of the party. Not trying to like toot my own horn, but like when I go out, like I don't need a drink to get me turned up. Like I'm just naturally Aisha, like, hey, how y'all doing? We party. They go to dance floor. Let's get, like, that's just me. So I feel like I definitely ask as many questions as I do when people like, hey Aisha, can you come host? I'm very picky about the events that I choose to go to now. At first I was just like, okay, but you have to kind of be exclusive. Everybody can't have access to you. And right, like everybody can't, like if somebody could easily reach you, it's kind of like, okay, like what do I need? Don't attach your name. Certain things I'm not going to attach my name to. If I see a flyer and it's sloppy and it's busy, I'm not posting it on my social media. Like if your flyer or whatever is not together and it don't look presentable, Aisha will not be posting it. Like whoever hired me, they'll be mad. I'll probably tell them like, hey, can you make me a separate flyer with my name on it and tag me in it? But this flyer is a little bit, you know, I don't want to be on flyers where somebody's smoking weed and they got like, I'm not attaching my brand. And for who I am and what I do, as far as I have connections with CPS schools, and the schools are looking at me, principals are looking at me, my own job is looking at me. So it's like I kind of have to be, you know, very prestige of what I like choose to host. You know, like I don't, yes, I'm not old, but I'm still like, I'm young in my 20s, but it's kind of like I'm like, okay, I don't want to really go this route. So certain gigs, right, certain gigs I choose to like just turn down and don't host. Then I have the people who come in my DM like, hey Aisha, and I tell them like, because I feel like I was doing a lot of gigs for free. I was, and I'll be honest about that, but I feel like sometimes you have to start from somewhere in order to kind of, you know, work your way up, because we got celebrities like Beyonce, Jay-Z, and all of them. They wasn't always getting paid for what they do, but now that they're who they are, you got to run that paper, or they not making, it's not happening. And I'm to the point to where I feel like a lot of people reach out to me to do free stuff. So like I've had a couple promoters, they're, hey Aisha, we want you to host. Okay, cool. I'm like, my rate is, and it wasn't, I'm like, oh, I'll just throw out some $250. They're like, we'll have to see if we could. No, I'm not coming. Yeah. Like that's simple, because you want me to host. It's not like I asked you. Right. Like now I can see if I ask you, and then I'm like, just how again earlier, like he's not going to charge you if he asks you to be in his magazine. So like I'm not going to charge you if I ask you to host. At this point, I feel like I'm tired of doing things for exposure, because I do have some type of leverage. I bring out a crowd, I grind, and I work for in the 3rd largest market in radio, which is Chicago. So I feel like, come on now, okay, you're a promoter, I work at radio, like we can, if you're trying to work something out where it's like an exchange for exchange, okay, you host, and if you can promote this, promote that, then cool. But no, I'm like, I get to the point where I'm like, okay, no, I'm not doing this for free. I need to start getting paid. I got bills, just like you got bills. I'm sure everybody in here got bills. So, you know, so it happens like that. As far as hosting, I know a lot of people think that I've been to parties to where, and I've had a group of people that I was doing some gigs for some promoters, and I was their host. They was, you know, I was coming out, I was hosting and everything. And it got to a point to where I'm like, okay, I was doing it for free. Cool. So then it got to a point to where they wanted to bring they was bringing one of my homies out. His name is Ford from Black Ink from Chicago. Yeah. So, you know, they call me at like how they say you call and ask how somebody is. They was like, have you worked with Ford before? How is he? I was like, oh, you know, that's my homie. We vibe well, we cool. They was like, how would you like to host with him? I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. That's the homie. Let's host. So remind you, I wasn't getting paid, didn't ask them for nothing. So they was willing to spend all of this money to pay for, but of course to not pay me. But they come to find out the night of the party, they didn't even, they pulled me up to the side. They was like, we didn't even need Ford, like this was packed out without him. But you wouldn't pay me, but you spent all this money on him, and now y'all mad. So when I had a conversation with them about starting to get paid, and again, I threw out $150 to $250, and then they were my homies, so I'm like, okay, you know, we could work together, you know. And I bought a lot of people to their parties. So had a conversation about them about getting paid, they eventually they just like wiped me out as being a host altogether because I mentioned getting paid to them, and we were supposed to follow up. I started seeing flyers. They got this other girl with a big social media following than me, and that's who they have to host their events now. So I'm like, okay, it's cool. You like what you like. That's fine. The way I host things, people think that hosting is just hopping on the mic and just doing all like turning. No, like I actually, you know, when I get on, it's more than just standing in front of a crowd and getting on the mic. It's like vibing with the crowd. It's making them feel good. It's making them feel like it's a party. And that's what I do when I host. I don't like people just get on the mic just like, yeah, it's your girl MF and da turn up. We ain't like, no, like that's not really hosting. Like, okay, you may have a little, you know, turn up words here and there, but like it's really like vibing with them, like going in the crowd. Like I go in the crowd, take pictures, I network. Hey, how you doing? Like, are you having a good time? Like that's the type of host that I am. And I feel like that's how I would want to feel if I go to a party and somebody hosting versus somebody just sitting in a section and they getting paid just to make an appearance. That's not the type of, like, no, you know, like I really want to host. So when people when people reach out to me with certain gigs, I just overturn it because I'm just like, okay, like I got bills to pay, y'all. I feel like I've done enough favors. Now if it's something as a friend, like how again it connects to what they were saying, like if maybe we could work something out. Like if you ain't really got my budget, maybe we could, you know, we could work something out. Maybe 150. The next time I come, okay, maybe something else. Like, you know, we could probably do something like that. So segueing into from hosting into loving who you are. So actually, this is the new issue of True Star magazine. I don't know if you guys heard of True Star.
Yes, I was featured in it.
But I am actually.
My son was a True Star.
I'm actually featured.
Yeah.
I'm featured in the last printed issue on page 39. They pretty much like tell my story.
Another print publication. You want to try to get as many print publications as you can.
So
With your resume.
pretty much this was their last printed issue. Start like my own campaign, I wouldn't be like comfortable in my skin. I didn't used to be confident. Like things that I like when I was in school, we had people, they wore all the name brand stuff. I was the opposite. I was coming to school, had on some Rainbow, whatever, had on K-Swiss. We all know the song they used to sing back then when you came to school wearing K-Swiss. That's fine. You know, I used to have Pumas on.
What's the song?
The purpose of me kind of, you know, saying that is that I was always different and I didn't have that confidence. So as I grew, as I got older and in my career field, you know, my circle started to change as well as my focus. And once I like went to college and I got focused into radio, that's when my friends dropped. Like I started here and then it was kind of like, okay, and then today is still like my circle is very small. I've realized that like, and that's even with like my career, like you have to be careful who you hang with and go out with because you have people who will show, excuse my language, show their ass and that will reflect on you.
Absolutely.
And I will completely cut off a friendship because of that, because I can't go out with somebody that want to be the turn-up queen and king and want to fight somebody, and I have relationships with clubs. Like any club in Chicago I go to, somebody knows me. They know I work for Power Nights. They know what I do, so that will get back to them. And like it'll just be all types of bad. So I'm very cognizant of who I go out with. The crowd I used to hang with then is completely opposite from the people who I hang with out now. You know, I feel like all of this adds as far as like hosting, and when you're like in entertainment, like period, I'm sure all of them will kind of agree to everything that I'm pretty much saying as far as that. You know, you have to. Of course, you have to clean up your image as well. Like earlier, how I was saying, posting certain things on social media, like it's like when my campaign, when I look for people to come and speak on my campaign, I kind of like have to research them. Like I don't want, even the Chicago artists, like I was trying to, I remember when I was in the mindset of like, oh, okay, I want to bring a few Chicago artists on. And when I kind of listen to their music of what they rap about and bringing them into the school to talk to kids about loving themselves and putting the guns down and violence and not bullying, your music is not matching up to my brand. So that's contradicting myself. I can't have you in front of these kids and you rapping about shooting Lil Debo and BBing them on the block. And you're in the school talking about it's okay to be you, put the guns down, peace, respect life, and you're not respecting life in your music. So I can't have that attached to my brand. So I kind of have to screen people who want to come and speak on my campaign. I do look at their social media, how people say when like photographers want to work with you, or if she wanted to hire you, like
looking, you guys.
People are always watching. So
all the time.
Right. So for instance, I had it was one of my old classmates who I went to my old high school with, Perspectives Charter School, and
I taught there. You talking about 87? No,
81st and May.
Yeah, 81st and May. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Never again, Perspective. Never again.
Just being honest.
So
I'm glad you turned out okay.
Yeah, I graduated. Turned out real good, you know, and it's working out lovely. So one of the teachers that I was talking to set up the event with, he like hit me up. He was like, are you still having, I'm not gonna say her name, but are you still having Shyla come and speak on your campaign? I'm like, yeah, why? He was like, well, I seen a post of her like cussing and just saying a whole lot of inappropriate stuff. You sure you still want her to come? I was like, oh, I didn't see that. So I went to her page and I saw it. I was like, yeah, like, okay, it's good. You know, you don't even have to come. Which she didn't end up showing up anyways. But that's the purpose of me saying like people are watching what you post. So again, when I look for people to speak on my campaign, I kind of like, I'm browsing a page, or if I see we got mutual friends and I know that person personally, I'm hitting up that person like, what do you know about this person? How are they with like, you know, speaking and stuff. And like, for instance, one of my work friends, Katrina, introduced me and her. And I was already kind of like, I already was aware of her because I would see them conversing back and forth on the status. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm already familiar with who she is, what she do, and everything. So like, when it's something like that, you trust people's judgments when it's something like that, you know, because we have that type of relationship. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's somebody she referred to me. So like, you know, like we cool, you know. So yes, I take like with hosting and just like owning who you are. And then it starts with just, you know, like owning up to like if whatever problems or issue or confidence issues you have, it starts with owning it. Once you own your flaws and once you love yourself, can't nobody else tell you anything different. You're going to love yourself regardless. Like, can't nobody use your pain or throw your pain in your face as long as you're owning it.
Yes.
And you know that. So, and that's something that I learned to do. I didn't know how to do that. You know, so people could walk up to me, say whatever they wanted to say, like, oh, you got on this, but like, if you're confident, like confident is you see somebody next to you trying to get to the same level and you help that person. You don't knock them down. You bringing them up with you like, oh, okay, you doing radio? Girl, we don't do radio together. You want to host? You can come and host with me. I got you. You want to know how to do this? I got you. So that's the type of, that's how we know that we're all confident, like owning it. And pretty much just like loving who you are. Like long as you like own everything that you do, like if you walk a certain way, own that walk. Let it be the meanest walk ever. Like, okay, I walk like this, so that walk may make you famous one day. The way you dress may get you to the next, somebody is looking and somebody gonna like, oh, I like how she walked, like I want her on my runway. Oh, I like how she dressed. I want her in my magazine, or I want her on my runway. I want to shoot with her. I need her behind my camera because she has something. So I learned how to do all of that over the years. Like I said, my backstory is in the magazine. I was very personal with them. I shared like, hey, I started off from being bullied in middle school to high school, you know, not having a good relationship with my grandma, to being verbally abused by her, to the point to where I had to walk out the house. I had to sleep in my car for a little while, had to go to my friends' cribs and sleep there. Stayed out purposely late because I didn't want to go home, because I was just like, you know, everybody want to be at peace when they go home. Yeah. You know, you don't want to go to your crib and like you feel uncomfortable. You're like, okay, so there's only two places on earth you want to have peace: your house and the grave. That's what I was told. So you go in your house and you don't have peace, there's something wrong. True. So you know, it's either I gotta go or they gotta go. Somebody gotta go. But that's pretty much like my backstory and how I started just like loving IESHA more, and just started reevaluating things, loving even my scars. If I got some marks or a beauty mark or a birthmark, that's what makes me different. Like I'm not like the next person. I'm me because of this mark. Like you never know what will get you to the next level. So that's pretty much what I learned how to do, and I apply that to my everyday life. I apply it in media. We know that we are in a cutthroat industry. Radio is so cutthroat. Like I said, I'm still young and I'm still learning, so I have people like literally hating on me left or right every day, everywhere I go. I got people who don't want to help me get to the next level, or they see me as a threat and they throw shade on me. So I won't make it, to the next level. But it's all about, and I don't believe in doing the eye for eye, tooth for a tooth, because that's going to block my blessings, and I don't have time to block my blessings or my money, because I like money, and I'm sure we all do. I like money, and I'm sure we all do. So I don't have time for that. So I mean, the most I pretty much do, I go about my business. I keep going hard, keep being IESHA. I keep going into school, sharing my story, motivating the kids, the youth, the students, and teaching them basically like the same thing that I'm talking to you guys about, sharing my story and teaching them how to love who you are and pretty much own it.
That's what I want to do too.
Like you gotta own it, and then you gotta have a voice too. So once you combine all of that together, you are unstoppable, and that's pretty much like what I do today, from hosting to like my everyday life. I just wake up and like I'm the same IESHA y'all see now. That's the same IESHA I'm pretty much I am every day. But we all human. We have our points to where we we gotta like take back a minute. We gotta take a break. We gotta reevaluate some things. I had to do that myself this week. I had to pull myself back from my close friends because it's things that I needed to evaluate about IESHA to make me a better IESHA. So if you got people that don't understand that you have to do things like that, then they not your real friends. They don't really understand. So that's what kind of like taught me, and my mom and them taught me not to let nobody ever hold anything over your head. Like if they want to snitch on you about something, okay, go ahead, but you're not gonna hold it over my head. You're not gonna throw it in my face. So that pretty much wraps up everything that I was saying. Did anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for me, or everybody's good? Okay, yes.
They have I'm trying to look for it now. They have a fashion show for bullying. They're doing a fashion show, and I thought maybe you was part of that.
You're talking about Sherry Gearhart's
Live
Out Loud.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a part of that today.
I haven't heard of
Yeah,
that.
Sherry Gearhart.
I will be
Actually,
connecting with you guys.
talk with me after. I'll give you her. I'll connect you guys.
Right.
Okay.
I do model training for her.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What was my
I don't know right now.
But I'm looking to start my own. How did you go about starting it and funding it?
Oh wait.
Okay.
There was a question. I wanna make sure that we hear this and we can hear it on camera. What was it?
Okay. No, I asked how did you start your nonprofit, because I actually work for a nonprofit and I'm looking to venture out to do that because I do want to go back to the community, not just here in Chicago, but all over. I want to make it a global thing because that's one of the biggest things for me is having a platform to be able to do that.
So pretty much like for me, it was like literally like a dream. I was just like, I woke up out of my sleep one day, like literally I was just in my room, and then I'm like, God, I want to do something to give back to my community and something where I'm sharing my story of being bullied with other people. How can I help other people? And starting a campaign, and originally it just started off where I was gonna just go to the schools myself and talk to people, and like I was talking to someone else, and like we was just on the phone, and they was kind of like giving me like, we were texting, they were like giving me like names and stuff, and then I kind of like finalized everything. I was like, it's okay to be you. And then I emphasized the B, B-E-E.
I love it.
You know, because B is extended, it's okay to be you. So I extended that part for like a reason, on purpose. So it was like an idea. I started at my old high school. And then, I started at Perspectives.
I like Perspectives. With y'all.
So I started there, and then it went from that school to me like blasting it, a simple social media blast. And like literally everybody just started hitting me up, flooding me with inboxes, comments like, oh my God, I want to hear more about it. Hit me up, text me. But that let the door open for the wrong people to come in my campaign. And the same people who was on it in the beginning, it kind of rotated to, you know, transition into different people, because sometimes people rock with your vision for their own personal reason, for their own gainage, you know. And it's something that I started, and I feel like being the CEO of my business, like, I have to say so of like, okay, this ain't right, you know. So if your heart is not into what I'm doing, I don't need you a part of my vision, because when I wake up, I live, eat, breathe, and think this. And if you're not on the same level as me, then I can't allow you to like rock with my vision. So it just started off as like me, like just waking up one day, and I was like, I'm gonna do an anti-bullying campaign. Boom, went to my old school, it happened. Then from there, I went to another school, to another school, to another school, and it just kept going. It's currently like not funded. I currently like do everything pretty much on my own, as far as like I just get in my car and I just drive to the schools. I talk to the principals. We map out what days and what times and how many students, what grade level, and where it's going to be at. And then I reach out to other people to get them to come and speak on my campaign. And that's pretty much how it started. I actually just applied for a grant that somebody bought me up to. They was like, hey, they having a grant, this will be good for your anti-bullying campaign. So I filled out the application. Not sure if I'm going to get it towards the end of this month, but I prayed about it.
Yeah,
so hopefully I get it. You know, but that would be I'm not going to say if I get the grant, when I get this grant, this will be the first grant that I've had since my campaign started. And I started back in 2016, and actually I'm getting ready to work on my anniversary party in August of this year, so that's in the works. Oh yeah, everyone's invited. So
On a side note, I'd like to talk to you before you leave, just of a couple ideas, because I like to pass anything that I can help somebody else grow or whatever. I like to do that. That's just me as a person.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm open for that. So that's how I pretty much started the campaign. So it's in the process of being funded. Everything else is like pretty much directed from like me.
And I'm part of Talent for Change. It's a kids nonprofit from Miami that is now in town here in Chicago to help the kids, inner city kids here. So we can talk about collaborating, and it's kids, it's helping kids. And so the projects that I'm doing with my fashion events and stuff like that, as I'm ramping them up, the percentage is going to help the kids of Chicago. So we gotta talk. Because it is a 501c legal and everything, and
or
that's where we're going into
like an EIN number and stuff. So I have that, but like eventually, like how she was saying, like a 501c3, that's huge, and that's something that, you know, like if people want to give you money and sponsor you, everybody's gonna ask for a 501c3 so they can make sure, and I don't blame them, because they want to make sure you're not just going on a shopping spree with that money. You know, I would ask for that too, like you got something that I can see where I know where my money is going, so you know, that's understandable. But luckily with some of the like connections that I have with people, and they just know my personality and what type of person I am, they pretty much don't worry about that. But I do want it to expand nationwide. I'm working on some stuff as far as like how you were saying, like you wanted yours to go like nationwide. I'm working on some stuff like that as well. And then I actually get asked to, like, my inbox is crazy now. I have schools coming left and right. I spoke at the Peace Summit this year, the 2018 Peace Summit at the House of Hope. And then I just got asked to come on board to do something this summer for like a group of kids during like the summer in July and stuff. So yeah, it's just a blessing for me to be able to do what I do and to kind of connect it and tie it into my career field and what I do in radio. So yeah, that's pretty much it.